Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Agenda Free News. This is Jerome Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, we're not going to spend too much topic on this one, but today's topic is a critical one. The targeted harassment campaigns against the YouTube channels like Nerdrotic, how they failed, and how these campaigns are also impacting Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. Now, we're diving into, how these attacks aimed at demonetizing and removing critics are affecting Kathleen Kennedy and her leadership and the reputation of Lucasfilm. Now, this situation is not just about online disputes. It's also significantly impacting Kathleen Kennedy and could shape the future of Lucasfilm itself, okay? And we're also going to explore these different how these campaigns have been causing trouble, and they're causing trouble for Kathleen Kennedy and what it means for the broader Star Wars universe, okay? Now, Kathleen Kennedy is facing basically increased scrutiny online due to these coordinated harassment efforts targeting YouTubers. Now, Kathleen Kennedy is not involved in these campaigns. She doesn't have anything to do with it, but at the same time, it's not a good look for Kathleen Kennedy herself. Now, these campaigns that were aimed at demonetizing and removing channels like Nerdrotic are creating a storm of negative publicity around Kathleen Kennedy and, Lucasfilm. And this targeted harassment goes beyond the simple online disagreements. It's actually reflecting poorly on Kathleen Kennedy and raising questions about the leadership of Kathleen Kennedy. Now, as Kathleen Kennedy and her name becomes more entangled with these controversial tactics, the credibility of both her and Lucasfilm is being questioned, okay? But more than ever, the impact on Kathleen Kennedy and her reputation is significant, revealing how these attacks are actually undermining her position at the helm of Lucasfilm, okay? So that's actually a pretty interesting thing, because the backfire effect of these harassment campaigns is, particularly noteworthy. Now, Kathleen Kennedy and her supporters might have expected these attacks to silence dissident effectively, but the situation has evolved, and tons of campaign have shifted, with those involved now focusing merely on demonetizing channels rather than removing them. Now, this particular shift that the adversaries of the Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars have realized their initial strategy was too aggressive and counterproductive. But for Kathleen Kennedy, this backpedaling only adds to the perception that her leadership is reactive and disconnected from broader fan concerns. Now, the evolving nature of these attacks continue to reflect poorly on Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm, and complicates the efforts of Kathleen Kennedy to manage the fallout, okay, after the cancellation of the Acolyte. But Kathleen Kennedy is also facing, not Kathleen Kennedy, but these individuals are also facing legal ramifications from those targeted campaigns. Now, the organized effort to demonetize and remove YouTube channels could cross legal boundaries, especially if it involves coordinated actions to suppress free speech. Now, if Kathleen Kennedy's name becomes associated with legal troubles arising from these campaigns, it could mean a substantial financial and reputational damage. But the potential legal consequences could further tarnish Kathleen Kennedy and her standing at Lucasfilm's reputation, highlighting the serious risks of these harassment efforts. Now, Kathleen Kennedy may not be sued, but legal issues could exacerbate the damage already inflicted on Kathleen Kennedy and her role with their Lucasfilm. But what's alarming is how these harassment tactics closely resemble those used by progressive leftist movements known for their focus on censorship and deplatforming. And Kathleen Kennedy, whether directly involved or not, is now associated with these divisive tactics. Now, this association is damaging because it reflects poorly on Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm as a brand, portraying them as part of the broader trend that suppresses differing viewpoints. And let's remember, Kathleen Kennedy did fire Gina Carano after the whole legal thing. No, not the legal thing, but the whole social media posts and stuff as Cara Dune from The Mandalorian. But for many fans and observers, this connection undermines Kathleen Kennedy and her leadership and her ability to navigate criticism constructively. Now, this negative perception of Kathleen Kennedy and her association with these tactics, even though she's not associated with it, only deepens the challenges that Kathleen Kennedy also faces. Now, the attack on free speech is central to the impact of these harassment campaigns. Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm are caught in the middle of a broader battle over free expression, and these campaigns represent a serious threat to this fundamental principle. Now, The attempt to silence dissenting voices like Nerdrotic through demonetization and removal from platforms undermine the value of free speech that Kathleen Kennedy should be upholding, as well as many others. Now, as Kathleen Kennedy faces backlash for these efforts, the importance of protecting diverse opinions and fostering open dialogue becomes even more evident. Now, the situation highlights how Kathleen Kennedy and her approach for Star Wars, as well as the criticism, is damaging the brand and Lucasfilm's public image. Now, in the long run, these harassment campaigns will likely have a lasting negative effect on Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. The increased scrutiny, potential legal issues against those who are actually involved, and the growing public backlash are all contributing to the crisis for Kathleen Kennedy. And as the situation unfolds, it's clear that the attempts to suppress criticism through these campaigns are only deepening the challenges Kathleen Kennedy faces. Now, the damage to Kathleen Kennedy and her reputation and Lucasfilm's credibility will be significant, serving as a reminder of these risks involved in trying to stifle dissent. Now, Kathleen Kennedy's legacy will be shaped by how she addresses the fallout from these contentious tactics, okay? Now, once again, I'm not saying that Kathleen Kennedy is involved. I'm not saying that Kathleen Kennedy sent these people out there. I'm not even saying that Leslie Helen sent these people out there. But these are the peoples out here who have made the decision themselves to go ahead and attack, YouTubers like Nerdrotic to get them demonetized, deplatformed. But at the same time, it's also putting a bad spotlight on Kathleen Kennedy. Okay. But the fact of the matter still remains that, this is definitely affecting her. So what exactly does this mean for Kathleen Kennedy herself and Lucasfilm? Now, the negative effects of these harassment campaigns will continue to escalate, impacting Kathleen Kennedy and her reputation and Lucasfilm standing. Now, the reputational damage, potential legal complications for those involved, and the increased public scrutiny are all contributing to the Kathleen Kennedy growing crisis. Now, as the situation develops, it becomes more evident that Kathleen Kennedy and her attempts to, Lucasfilm attempts to suppress criticism through these campaigns are only exacerbating the challenges. Now, we are also seeing Kathleen Kennedy and her legacy and Lucasfilm's future are at stake as they navigate the fallout from these damaging efforts, okay? But remember that free speech is vital, and it's also crucial to address the criticism with openness rather than resorting to tactics that undermine democratic principles. Now, the situation itself surrounding Kathleen Kennedy and, Lucasfilm, as well as these harassment campaigns by others, serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of protecting diverse viewpoints and even fostering constructive dialogue. Now, we're also going to have to advocate for a media landscape where free expression is respected, like on Views with Hughes and Jennifer News, and valued, and where Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm can focus on addressing their challenges in a more transparent and constructive manner. All right. Now, as I've said before, Kathleen Kennedy has no part in these targeted campaigns, harassment campaigns online. She is not stated that if Kathleen Kennedy is behind all these things, if she orchestrated the whole thing, but at the same time, it's actually, falling on her because of the kind of content that she put out there. You see, Kathleen Kennedy decided to go ahead and approve of the Acolyte, and Kathleen Kennedy decided to have the approve of this kind of storyline in the Acolyte from Leslie Helen. And since it was canceled, it's possibly either Kathleen Kennedy's decision or Bob Iger's decision to make Kathleen Kennedy to cancel the Acolyte. This also led to consequences of people out there who are unhinged to go ahead and decide to have different YouTubers canceled. And this isn't really looking good for Kathleen Kennedy, even though Kathleen Kennedy is not directly involved. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have this particular topic. If you enjoyed what I shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button and share it far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, and you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.